and welcome to New Shuttle's digital platform. I'm
Thank you.
Shashwati Bodhakur Dikshit from the New Shuttle team. At New Shuttle, we pride ourselves in showcasing exceptional children with an aim to inspire others. And New Shuttle is a thriving community of children and parents. Today, we have a delightful little guest with us. She is not only a voracious reader, a budding artist, but she is also a published author. We have the pleasure of welcoming Ishita Padiyar. Welcome to New Shuttle, Ishita.
Thank you.
Ishita, can you tell us something about yourself? Give us a brief introduction.
My name is Ishita. I am 6.11 years old. I like reading books, writing stories, drawing pictures and painting.
So let's talk about your habit and your interests in reading. So you are not even 7 and you have read so many books. Tell us how and when did you discover this love for reading?
My grandmother used to read stories to me. My Alexa also used to read audible stories to me. When they read it, I also felt like reading books by myself. When I started reading my books, I started liking them. This is how I discovered my love for reading.
So, Ishita, you have read so many books. So, do you have one particular author that you really love, and why is that author your favorite one?
My favorite author is Onjali Q Rauf, who has written The Boy at the Back of the Class. I like her because she brings emotions to the character. She thinks what each character will do in each situation, and she builds the characters nicely. One of my other favorite authors is Enid Blyton, who has written the school series. I like her because she thinks about what the characters will do in school and she builds the characters nicely.
Okay, so Ishita, see, when a person is so interested in reading, they love reading books, writing about stories or writing stories or expressing oneself on paper is a natural progression. So you got interested in reading first, then you turned writer. So as a writer, what's your favorite genre and why is that?
My favorite genre is fantasy because I can write about fairies, witches and all other magical stuff.
And the best thing about writing about fantasy is that there is no limitation to your imagination. You can imagine anything and everything and create this vision, this imagery in the minds of the reader. For example, you write about a fantasy story and I read about Ishita's fantasy story. So I know, oh my gosh, she's created this beautiful, fantastic and mystical and magical place, and your characters, they talk, they emote. So it becomes an extension of your imagination. So well done. Apart from being a writer, you have published your story. Now you are an established and published author. Tell us about your story, The Witch's Pit.
I like reading and listening to stories about magic and friendship. And I always talked about stories and I played it out with my doll. So one day I thought that I should write a story, and then I wrote a series, and the series name was The Witch's Pit. And the first book's name was Discovery. The first book is about 4 friends who go into a pit and come across magic. Thank you.
This is The Witch's Pit. The Witch's Pit is about A girl named Sally who shifts to Germany, makes new friends, finds a pet and has adventures.
Okay, so is this a book available online? How can someone purchase it? Is it available on Amazon?
Yes, it's available on Amazon, Flipkart, and it also has Kindle version.
Oh, that is fantastic. So everyone watching there, so if you want to have a feel of Ishita's world through her story called The Witch's Pit, her book is available on Amazon, on Flipkart, and it also has a Kindle version, so go for it. I'm sure you'll definitely enjoy this book. And about the stories that you write, Ishita, tell us, what is your process of developing the story? Do you think about the story in your head and then go forward, or you just write the introduction or probably the beginning of the story and build the characters and develop them as you go forward? So what is your process of writing a story?
So first I think about what the main idea of the story will be, then I build the characters in my mind, then I write it. I think chapter by chapter.
Okay, so there is a very important tip that Ishita has given us. So what she does is she goes chapter by chapter. Once she finishes one chapter, she thinks about how the characters develop and behave or emote, and will develop into a sequential thing in the next chapter. So it goes chapter by chapter. And not only a writer, a reader, you are also an illustrator. Tell us something about your love for drawing, sketching, and painting. How do you like to illustrate your stories?
I want to illustrate them because if I draw them, it will be more easy to describe all the characters in the story.
That is such a logical thing to say. And apart from all these interests, which are kind of intermingled, a reader most often likes to read and vice versa. For example, a writer most often would love to read other authors, other writers, other books. So apart from all these things, what are your other hobbies? And how do you manage your studies with so many different things?
My other hobbies are like playing video games with my friends on weekends, and then my other hobby is to play board games and card games with my family.
Oh, so your family likes to have fun together. They play board games and they enjoy themselves, right?
Yes.
So you are not even 7. So I know this is not an age to think about your career path. But at the back of your mind, do you have any idea or any inclination towards a particular profession, or what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an animator when I grow up because it will involve drawing and creating characters. So I also like drawing and creating characters. And I have planned that I will also create my animation movies of the stories I have written.
Oh, nice. So for that, you will have to take some kind of a certificate course or a degree in animation to hone and to learn the nitty-gritties of this animation career, right? So you plan to take on courses about animation and graphics and VFX and things like that?
Yes.
Okay. So there are many kids in our audience who would be watching your interview, and they are maybe thinking about turning writer or publishing a story. So do you have any message for such children?
They should bring emotions to the characters. They should think what each character will do in each situation, and they should write their story properly.
Yes, so I have a very, very important message from Ishita. We have had some very serious questions. Are you ready for some fun questions? Quick questions. Okay. Let me think. Okay, Ishita, tell me, who is more strict, your papa or your mama?
Both.
Nice. So, no, poor Ishita has to bear the brunt of both their anger. It doesn't matter sometimes.
Not together, like, so from my mother sometimes, and after that, after some time, my father, sir.
Oh, it's okay. Sometimes parents do get angry, but they love you with all their heart and they have your best interest. What's your favorite cuisine? Is it Indian, South Indian, Italian, Chinese? What's your favorite cuisine? What's your favorite dish?
Noodles, pasta, like that.
Oh, and tell me, given a choice, would you ask your parents to take you to the beach or to the mountains?
Mountains.
Okay. Also, say tomorrow you wake up and you suddenly become invisible. Nobody can see you. So what's the first thing you're going to do?
I am going to sneak and see what my mother is doing at each time and what my father is doing. And because they all so many times fight, I'm going to see what they're fighting about.
That's the story about every household, you know. So people fight because they care about each other. Most of the time, if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't fight with you. So fighting is also one of the ways of showing love for one another. So that is okay. And Ishita, thank you so much for being such a sport and answering all these questions with such clarity of thought for a young girl like you to speak in such an articulated manner. Kudos to you. Well done. And so this was Ishita Padiyar, not even 7, a published author, a voracious reader, a budding illustrator. Watch out for this girl. She has big plans for the future. With this, I take a wrap on this series until we meet again with some other exceptional and talented kid. This is a goodbye from me, Shashwati Bhattakur Dixit. Thank you and goodbye.